Okay, I'm back. All right, it's been forever. I have my coffee. I, I'm here. I asked her help for my entire power. Let me help. I need your help doing this. Let me get help. Um, Once again, this video, long ass video, is sponsored by Bradley, and it is dedicated to all the Patreons who've been here. I've had one from the beginning. Actually, no, Susan. She'd been there for a while, and she had to, she like $20 a month, for a while. In fact, all the while that Susan, I would say the majority of the time that Susan was my Patreon, uh, like probably a year, I think. I had to public everything. I just posted it public. There you go. No complaints. You can't complain. It's costing you nothing. Go over to Patreon. Look what I got. Put $1, put $1 in the bin. And so she had to like an she'd been there by herself for a while. She was the first one, and I don't even really know her last name, but Susan is the pioneer who was the first one. I'm pretty sure she was the first one. Then there was someone else who dropped off. And then there um, Jack, was it Julie David? David. His name is David. He's using his wife's account, Julie David. So these are the Patreon Hall of Famers. And so thank you. All right. I know I played music. I kind of would like to play more and whatever. Let's let it roll. But no, we got to talk. We got to talk. Okay. Um, I don't think I've said this before, but sometimes it can be difficult to start these videos and just to get in because it takes a lot of research, and I'm the deep dive guy, and I don't always feel like I get all the research in before, but I'm like, no, the two sides of the head. I'm like, no, I don't have everything in, all the facts, and then the other side is like, no, you need to make a video, and people miss you, and they need to talk to you, but well, like gotta make a good video first, and like, no, you don't, you gotta talk first and then make the video as you go along. So the two sides of my head have this discussion. And i'm i'm I am I'm grateful for the opportunity to do this. But I don't always have the motivation to start or to want to start or whatever. um but once I do get started, I just kind of get in a roll, and the material takes on its own weight, its own momentum. And once I get started, even if I kind of stop this, I'm like, okay, I'm halfway through a thing, and I can get back to the material, because I'm in the middle of it, and it has its own momentum. But to start the video, to get everything kind of laid out and the thumbnail, I try to. The thumbnail for me is not just a thumbnail; it's the educational material more often than not. You know, and even in the case where it's just a text, I have a few. I think that's what this thumbnail is going to be. Is just a text and me, something like that. Because this is my work. This is my work. This is all of this is from my own life. And so, there's not a better picture of other than me to as a presenter of this. Um, so I've given this some thought. But I think of this, like I said, I've said this before. I think of this as me as a VJ, running my own channel, and the life beyond my wildest dreams. There's a lot more to this that I don't have the energy to work to work. There's a lot more that I could do had I had the energy. And again, I'll just say, like getting a mobile home will be a big step toward dedicating time to just human resonances and a book, or at least doing t-shirts. I'm going to be making t-shirts soon, and I'm more on that later. Merch, got to have some merch. All right. Okay, so the material. 16 minutes in. All right. The material. All right. So again, this is from my own personal experience, and I'm talking as someone who has been a technician for a number of years, doing all kinds of, not just fixing things, but resolving problems. Leaves, picking up leaves, even in someone's yard. If any job requires a technical explanation of what you're going to do, right, and a clear, simple explanation, you get the estimate, you give the estimate for what you're planning on doing. You want a simple explanation. This is what we're going to do, blah. And this is a very common part of a technician's, Mr. Fix-It's job, that you're explaining how the system works properly, and oftentimes what happened to make it not work, and why you got to, why I'm here fixing it, what we're doing, and how we're going to resolve it, and these are all technical aspects you want to take the customer through, and part of it is you're actually showing them the material, some hands-on kind of thing, that we can look at and see. And as such, the technicians have a demeanor and an interaction with ourselves as we work on the problem and bounce potential solutions and situations off one another. So, again, we're talking about a group of guys. Usually there's one technician, like the lead tech, the fix-it, the guy, the project manager. Right? So he knows all of everything that's going on, and he explains to the different people what the parts are. But to the customer, that's a different experience. Among ourselves, we have a common language and a common demeanor based on the common experience of us working together. The folks who work on actual real-world technical equipment, such as the antenna and the detecting hardware at Tomsk, for example. So the lab techs that work at Tomsk, for example, our patron saint of examples, Saint Tomsk. So the guys who work on each other, such as the antenna detecting equipment, have a language and a lexicon and a lingo that depends on actual hands-on experience and working together and the type of work that you're doing and the level of difficulty that you're working at. When the technician explains to a customer the nature of the problem, the customer does not want a song and dance. The customer, you or me, wants a clear, simple explanation of what is the problem and what can be done to fix it. This comes from my own personal experience on both sides of the desk. Technicians are, in fact, terrible salespeople because they don't have a monetary interest in your decision of what you purchase. Not really. I mean, we would suggest you buy the better grade material, right? But the quality of it, different names, and some names will cost a little more, and blah, 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 whatever. There's a trade-off between what the type of quality, the level of quality that you need for the application, and for how much it's going to cost, and how much you have for the overall project. But the technician himself is going to recommend the best material, the best parts, the best material for the job, right? We know it's optimal. This is what we do. This is our job. I'm always going to recommend the best particular material or equipment or hardware for that job. And if I'm a conscientious steward of that, project manager, I'm going to factor safety cost into that as well. Making sure everyone has a safety vest, like we're venturing into a new project, there's a certain margin of, safety costs. It's built in, shoring up stuff, doing extra work on the piles and all of this stuff, making sure pumping out the water table underneath the crane so that it sets and it's not like, in a swamp, that it actually is setting down where it's on solid ground. This is really, 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 really super important. So the song and dance a lot of times is, oh, that'll be all right. Or, oh, that's good enough. Or, oh, no, we'll save some money or whatever. So there's the way the accountant does his song and dance that's different than what the technician does as his song and dance of the walkthrough of what the best possible materials, the best possible scenarios are, and, hey, the cost associated with it. Okay. So we don't have monetary interest in what you get. We recommend the best. that, and explain the trade-offs between what you're paying for and what you're getting, blah blah blah. We don't have a song and dance because we have the physical illustration of how it works. We give you the data, we give you the drawings, the charts, the sonograms, we give you all of the data, which could be, if you're at work on a car, we take you at Sears, we would take the customer right to the car, we'd bring them out to the shop, give them some safety glasses, bring them right to the car. We're going to show you. The technician found out, if there was no extra work that was involved, I didn't need to sell anything, and if it was just like a alignment of the tires, like a standard alignment, we're good. But as a technician would be in there, he'd look, and there would be ball joints. If the shaking of the tire, he would shake it, and if it was too loose, you look at the ball joints, which have bushings, and the bushings can get worn out. So we have to recommend sometimes that people get additional parts in addition to the labor that we're doing. And this, everyone, if you've ever had work in your car done, this. Technician's in there, he looks, and, not only is this broken, but also that got broke as well. And there's forever this battle between the customer. I'm not going to have you sell me anything I don't need. And the technician is like, man, you need a new engine, like so the song and dance of the technician is where it gives you the visual representation of the car, and he will tell you that this is unsafe and you may crash if, you see how much play you have here. That means that this is cracked. See, that's cracked there, and that's what that is. That's why that's loose, and that's getting ready to pop off there. When that goes, you won't have any control in your front wheels, and, you'll get what you get if you're at highway speed, which may be death. I don't know, but, we can do this now. We can take care of it now, but you see, right? I haven't taken I only took the wheel off. We haven't touched anything. It's still on your car exactly how it came in. And if you say, no, we can't do the rest of this because it's unsafe, right? You can say, no, we'll drive the car. That's fine, right? The car, you can get home, right? But you can't really drive it too far. We would have to tell people that, and they see it's cracked. It's, oh, wow, holy crap. Geez, no, take care of it. I don't want to drive off like that, and, this is the part, and this is how much it costs, this is that. And, from my experience, we did a good job because it's standards and working at the job. Other people, whatever your experience is, it's on you, that's on you, But I will say for myself, I'm not going to be at a shop that is a shady operation. So whatever you say on your end of, any business dealings you had to do with, I was an employee at Sears, okay, and I will say this: the one I was at, I believe, is no longer. They refunctioned, they redid everything, and so that one that I was at, I don't believe is any longer in business. I haven't been there in a while, but if I'm not mistaken, I think that was one of the ones they shut down. So the store I'm talking about is no longer in business, but at any rate, just the same, no matter which one, any one of these shops that I was at, if there was a shady operation, I'm not going to be a part of that, right? I'm just not. I'm there as a technician, and I want to fix stuff, and I want to fix it properly. That's my personal work ethic. So we bring you to the car. The technician brings you to the car, the bicycle, or whatever, and we explain how it works and what's wrong and this and that. But then, right? But what do we do when we lose your attention as we explain how the process works, right? This is a common thing that happens, right? Not just at the bike, not just at the car, not just at the generator, the on the site generator for the egghead project managers who are always in a desk somewhere. They're on the site. They don't know how anything works. You got to take them to the site. They're in their, they're not even in proper work shoes. They're on office shoes and Italian loafers or some crazy stupid shit. They're on the job site, and they're loafers. It happens, in a suit, and the rest of us are all in gloves and hard hats or whatever. They give these guys the white hard hats. The white hard hats are the engineers' hard hats. Those are the guys usually in charge. The workers get bright yellow. Some of them, like the chiefs, get blue. The project managers get a blue hard hat. It's different in different places, but that, a lot of times that's how it works. Whites are the engineers generally. Um, the guy's wearing loafers on the job wearing loafers. Um, um, but they're all leather though. Okay, they may be safety toed. I don't know. Yeah, so we're taking them on the site and they're showing them around, blah, 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 blah. And it's all, it's interesting. When you have to get into the technical details of it, you lose your attention because there's not, like it's the technical details. They're accountants or project managers that they don't understand the depth of the technical stuff. And so, whether you, with customers, this is it, with working with customers, you just lose them. And you have to bring them literally to the site and show them the thing. You show the thing in your hand and have the visual aid of the thing itself leading the presentation. Otherwise, you lose the non-technical person, the average everyday person. Right? And so this is part of what the issue here is that I work to explain the Schumann resonances, and I give you the visual aid of the what the heck do you call it? The spectrogram. Here, hold on. All right. So, I give you the visual representation of the spectrogram, and I show you not just the spectrogram itself, but we also have the dependency underneath it, the line graph, right? All this, the boring shit. The boring shit. You're on the job. You don't know what any of it means. Oh, this is boring. This is boring, 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 boring. Oh, fun. You have full color, fun. Oh, yeah, okay. Where are we? So this is one of the things that the technician deals with in explaining this technical, this is technical. This is a technical thing. It's not artwork. It's not a mootering. This is a technical, very technical plotting. It's a manufactured a plotting of radio waves. Essentially, they're invisible. They're electromagnetic. This is technical, and it's giving you a visual representation, a 3D representation of what the spectrogram is. No, I mean, it gives you a visual representation of what the radio waves are that would otherwise be invisible. You otherwise wouldn't see them. There's a symphony of radio waves, essentially, at certain resonances that settle in at certain frequencies that are consistently there. All right. So this is part of, the issue as being a technician of explaining it to people, because there are concepts behind it that are boring. They're technical. There's a hands-on experience behind it you need to have. If you don't have it, you don't know it. It's boring. I want the Disney version, right? The fun, colorful unicorns and puppies and puppies licking your face version. I'll just say it that way. I've used the phrase the Ascensionists, the Schumannites, right? Using the spectrogram as a type of religious or spiritual expression, or a how do I say this? A visual representation of a spiritual concept, or a spiritual experience, or a phenomena that's happening around the world. And this is even to explain this of what it's being used as. It is even to explain how it's being misused requires some degree of understanding and presence of mind, and a minimum bit of technical understanding of how it's being misused. So there's a false flag, what I'm going to call a false flag, bottom line, lowest common denominator of what the Schumann is, which it's not. It's just an outright fabrication. And then there is a level above that of understanding necessary to realize the false flag, the false nature of the ascension-based narrative, right? So there's a level of language that comes with the fuckery of the spectrogram and the Schumann resonances that requires an amount of technical understanding and explanation, such as the word frequency, such as the word amplitude, such as the word quality. Okay, so there's a minimum understanding of just the word amplitude, understanding it as, a power number. Over and above that, there has to be a level of understanding and awareness of the true technical nature of what's wrong with the least common denominator picture. Okay. And then above that, there's another level of minimum understanding of what the terms actually are and how they've been misused. Okay. What their wrong words are, which is the least common denominator, which we kind of have to start with, and then get that all out of the head, and then you can move on to the new, what's correct and proper and correct based on what's already here, has already been here for the last 50 plus 60 years, 70 years. So, this is what we talk about. I, as a technician, this is what I'm talking about, and how I'm relating my real life experiences here of being a technician on the job site, working as a technician, with the problems of explaining the Schumann resonances from a technical aspect to the non-initiated, right? Is we lose your attention. We lose your focus, we lose your attention. It's no longer fun. I want the puppies, I want the unicorns, I want the chamomile tea, I want whipped cream on my, my hot coffee, my hot cocoa. I wanted my hot coffee, yes, but hot cocoa is what I meant. And so that's not what this is. This is spending the afternoon in the waiting room at, Sears Automotive, watching the technicians work on the cars, right? If you're not a technician or someone that works on cars or likes cars, it may not be the fun version for you. But if you like working on, that type of stuff, if you are technically inclined, this here, my version, what I'm doing, what I present, what I bring to the table, the Verde Arbustos version of this, is the technician bringing you to the car so you can see for yourself how this actually works, bringing you to the antenna so you can see for yourself how they derive at the data on the spectrogram. Okay. And as a technician, I speak for myself and all the technicians I have had experience with, the bicycle technicians, the car, the whatever technician. We simply want your problem solved in the most efficient manner possible. That's it. I can't speak for all of them, but I largely 93 speak for 93. I 93% speak for 93% of them, that they just want your problem solved. The technician would perhaps like to improve your understanding of the process, so you're aware of the individual parts and how the system works. Again, not 100%, not all of them, but I'm, speaking 93% on behalf of 93% of them, that, we would like to improve your understanding of the process so you can be part of it as well and take care of your thing. That is the simplest way to explain it, that the more you know about your car, how the tires work, how the valve stem works, all of it, whatever it is, how the brakes on your bike work and what to look for. If you know what you're looking at, and when you're looking at it, what it is that you're looking at, you'll be better off taking care of your own stuff and coming in before something breaks. No technician wants to work on something that breaks if it could have been avoided by you having come in and done periodic maintenance. If you get in an accident, that's one thing. That's different, all right? You hit a pothole that wasn't there yesterday. Rhode Island grows potholes overnight, right? The thing about pot, legalizing pot. Yes, they legalize potholes in the state. Yes, they did. So there's been an over exuberance in abundance of potholes that have been sprouting out all over the place, and certainly in the 10 years that I've been here, they pop up overnight. It happens. They put a house in the middle of the road where it used to be a road. Like, it happens, right? You run through all right, it was a road yesterday. They put a bus stop there. All right. Yeah, you curbing. They put curbing in the middle of the road. They have no idea what the curbing's for. Just put it in the middle of the road and whatever. You run into it. Yeah, this shit like that happens, right? Make sure to take a picture of it. That's all I'm saying. But all right, but we know, we know, we know, we know when you've not been taking care of the thing, right? The technician knows. We know what it looks like when it's clean and good working operating order, because, oh, wouldn't you know, the technician has one of those himself, something that's in good working order. He knows exactly what good working order looks like when you take care of something. That's his standard, his own stuff. So when you come in, how do you know? How does the technician know that I haven't changed my oil in the last 15,000 miles? How do they know? Well, they know, because they know. They do this. That's what they do. They take care of their own stuff. So that's what they know, how they know things work properly. And they also work with a bunch of people who also take care of their stuff properly. And you come in, somewhere around the regular maintenance time and get the stuff regularly maintained. My grandmother, for example, whether she needed the quarterly maintenance on a car or not, she brought it into the shop, All right. The technician wants you to take care of your property, your car, your phone, your whatever technical thing. We don't like to fix broken things. We do not like fix broken things. We like to do the periodic maintenance on a thing that keeps it operating optimally. All right. And so, yeah, a technician is in the shop. He makes his money off of broken things. Yes, he fixes it. It's part of the job. He doesn't complain to you largely. However, there are things that are catastrophically broken that we just look at you. What the fuck happened here? How did this happen? Okay. So we prefer to do the periodic maintenance. This is why I take care of my property to the best of my ability. Usually, generally, 93% plus percent of the time, I take care of my stuff to my best ability. I want it to operate in tip-top condition. Accidents can't be avoided. True. Again, like I said, they grow potholes overnight in the state. That happens. They put a curbing where there used to be a road. Okay. Call it a bus stop, whatever. You're going to run into something in this godforsaken transportation hostile state. It just happens. Your accidents are going to happen. True. However, what's coming from an accident and what's a problem that's coming from you ignoring the warning signs? Noise, funny vibration. It wasn't there yesterday, maybe. Maybe it's not the road. Didn't suddenly already start getting funny vibrations to it. What are the warning signs that you, as a customer, you as a user of technology, is ignoring? So that's what I'm saying. That's what this question is. What's coming from an accident? Something suddenly happened. To what problem is derived from you ignoring the periodic maintenance and warning signs that something's wrong. I approach the discussion on human resonances the same way. I'm a technician. I've always been one since I was 8. So the first thing I remember for my mom fixing for my mother, my father was never around. He was never around. So it was either I had to fix it or it would be broken, of the lawnmower. My mom would say, I'll take you to the library to get a book on fixing the lawnmower, and if you don't fix it, you got to do it by hand. We had one of those push mowers with a wheel that did that, and that was murder. Even if that thing was sharp, it's still heavy. Like, oh, fuck, no. So I was able to keep my grandfather's old lawn boy working for a while. I had one of the neighborhood guys help me out. We got new spark plugs, and, eventually it was all smoking and whatever, but it did the lawn and whatever. So I've always been a Mr. Fix-It of some type. Helping my mom. My dad was never around, And so my mom always was very willing to take me to the library and get a book on how to fix whatever it was that's broken. And so that's why I learned amazing research skills, and I could actually read when I went into kindergartens. You know, I knew the alphabet. You know, my mom had read with us, and so I could read small words. I knew my name. I could print my name. Uh, all of that. I formed complete sentences. I knew what an abrasion was, what a contusion was. In high school, I'm sorry, in kindergarten. By high school, I forgot everything. Um, so yeah, so I've always been a Mr. Fix It. And you know, I've always enjoyed fixing things and seeing how things are put together. Um, uh, and as I work, as I've done work for people, you know, you try and explain to them simply how the thing works, right? And just so that they can follow along with what needs to happen. You know, I would report to my mom, you know, well, you know, the book says try, you know, you troubleshooting, you know, the Maytag washing machine, you know, it's not doing this. Try the, you know, this thing here, and if that's not working, then you know it needs a new switch. And so, you know, it's, say, you know, I'm at the point, I'll take the switch out. You know, I've gotten the front off, everything's connected in there, and you know, it looks good, and you know, so all right, take it off. We'll get, you know, blah blah blah. Um, So when you're dealing with, you know, the successful resolution of technical issues, you got to stick with the facts and this kind of stuff. And that's the same thing. How I look at the spectrogram is the facts behind what it is I'm looking at. Otherwise, I don't know. Otherwise, it becomes art. If I don't know that there's dependencies to it, if I don't know that the spectrogram is a qualitative view, not the quantitative one, then I'm going to imagine the spectrogram to be modern art. Humans need a song and a dance somewhere in the successful transmission of data in order for it to be meaningful and stick around, right? Song and dance. So if you don't know technically how it works from having looked at it, you need some type of visual representation of it, schematic or something. And the parts, the dance is what the physical thing itself is, I guess, and the song is what the name is called. Right. Very simple. The Disney side Ascension based version has the necessary amount of true song and dance and fun colors to keep humans interested, despite the lack of science and actual technical facts. I've talked about that before. Lots of phrases describe this process: the shuck and jive, the okie dokie, three card Monty, bait and switch, bamboozled, shanghaied, you been duped. And on the list goes. The exact number of phrases of how humans are swindled could be limitless. This is boilerplate Piscean age antics. All right. Beware of the con and everything. Okay, so I have one more got one more section. I'm gonna play some more music, just because I need to hear some music, and then, all right, yeah. So I'm gonna make this smoke length.